Question: are Black women to blame for the issues in Black fatherhood? Now, this came about with a conversation I had with some coworkers. And it all started with a dude pants were sagging. And so the woman was like, look at that, why a Black man? So she grouped us all together saying, why Black men always sagging their pants? And I know, I ain't got no butt, so I know I ain't sagging my pants. But so in my response was, shoot, he ain't doing nothing that women don't approve. And then, of course, we got into a heated discussion. My partners didn't help me out, but that's cool. But so I heard everything from Black man no good, grouping us all together again. Black man need to step up, grouping us all together again. Black man this, Black man that. But I know I'm going to get the side eye from time to time from these ladies when they see me. But it brought out something in me for a deeper discussion. And I definitely want to sit down with those ladies and have that discussion. But Black men, or men in general, to be honest, don't do anything that women don't approve. Now, mind you, there are some women who won't approve, obviously. But overall, everything that we do is for the attention of women, whether it's, cars, the way we dress and everything. Yeah, we want to impress our partner, but the real goal is attracting women, whether it's the one that we're committed to or just the whole field of women. But that's what we do as men. Now, the plight that Black men are facing in fatherhood comes from a lot of different things, whether it's systemic racism, poverty, lack of access to education, quality employment opportunities, mass incarceration, stereotypes, the list goes on of the things that we as our fathers are facing in fatherhood. However, mothers are making it hard, dang near impossible for some fathers to have relationships with their children. And these are contributing to issues that our children are having. Mind you, everything I say doesn't lump all women, doesn't lump all men, doesn't lump all children. But there's a significant amount out there that are being affected. They're making this a very concerning issue. So let me go over some of the issues that we are facing with our children. 63% of youth that commit suicide come from fatherless homes. We're talking 90% of all homeless and runaway children come from fatherless homes. 85% of all children that exhibit behavior disorders or issues come from fatherless homes. Now, I'm going to keep going, but I just want to say this as far as this isn't about just fathers walking out their children's lives. This also are the mothers that are keeping their children away from their fathers. I'm not talking about the bad fathers that are out there doing no good. It's probably best they don't have a relationship with that father. But I'm talking about the ones that are trying, that are working hard, and all they want is a relationship with their children. Let me go over some more stats. 71% of high school dropouts come from fatherless homes. 75% of adolescent patients in chemical abuse in centers come from fatherless homes. So there is a significant connection with children from fatherless homes or dads that are not involved, to single moms, or I should say mom and dad households. So we definitely have the statistics to show there is a cause for alarm, I should say, with what's going on with our children in fatherless homes. And as I scroll up on my laptop, I see I have even more data for you guys. Children are 5 times more likely to commit suicide coming from a fatherless home. 9 times more likely, like I said, to drop out of school coming from fatherless homes. So these are concerns about our children. And with us being in an era of mental health issues, these are some of the things we need to look into, getting to the source of causing the problems for adults, even like with me, I didn't come from a fatherless home, but I have issues because of not knowing my biological father. Things I feel somewhat incomplete. I started to search to look for my biological father, and then to the point where I say, you know what? I'm gonna deal with my issues, but I know one thing: my boys won't have that issue because they'll know their dad, know everything about me, health and all that type stuff. So my kids won't have that issue. But there is something about fathers being present in a child's life that transforms everything for them. And some of the things that's crazy that's going on in society is that how they still paint black fathers. Every race has issues with fatherless homes. And issue to me is if there's any percentage of kids that have to live life without a father or a male figure in their life, that's an issue for me. But what they paint is like black fathers are the ones that are the worst at not being there for their kids and not assisting their kids into striving to be great benefit to society, I should say. But some of the things that they don't tell you is that 70% of black fathers who live with their children bathe, dress, diaper their children every day. They don't paint us to be those type involved fathers. And that's 70% compared to 60% white fathers and 45% Hispanic. You can look this up. It's all out there, guys. 77% of black fathers who live with their children help them with their homework and check their homework daily. Now, I do myself have to improve on that, but my boys are doing pretty good, so I kind of trust them. But we are the most involved fathers of all the races. Fathers are just as important as mothers. I think, first of all, shout out to mothers, because I know the way I started this may seem like I'm attacking mothers. I'm really not. There are some issues in motherhood that needs to change when it comes to thinking, oh, I'm all my kid needs. No, your kid still needs a male figure, a father figure, if possible, in their lives. That's the balance the kids need. That's the balance. All right. So, with this argument about black men, which stemmed from just sagging pants, and I wound up making a whole podcast out of it, some of the issues that we need to change and really just have a discussion. You know, fathers and mothers need to have a discussion on how to handle co-parenting and working together. I think, like, even if you didn't make it in marriage, or if you didn't even get to that point, it's still very important that you have a relationship with that mother. And this is me talking to the dads right now. One thing, your kids need to see you partnering with your mother. You guys may have your own issues, but the kids need to see that partnership. And using my life as an example, that's one of the things me and my kids' mom strive for. Once we divorced, I think our communication has improved, to be honest, because we're both committed to trying to show our boys that despite us not working out, we are all about our kids. And the boys get to see that balance of a mother and father working together, despite us not living in the same household. That is so important for our kids to see when all possible. Like, you guys can handle your issues to the side, but when it comes to the kids, whether it's coming to baseball games or football games with the kids together, PTA, yes, parents need to visit the school every once in a while just to show the kids you're committed with their education, just like you put on to them, making sure they're doing their homework and they're doing right in school. Don't bring no F's in this house. I remember always hearing that growing up. But you need to be in those schools sometimes, just showing the kids that you are a united front with your teachers to let them know that education is paramount. So But in closing, because I have a couple more things I want to get to. So despite my comments I made in the podcast, I love Black women. I love Black mothers. And no, Black women are not to blame for the issues in Black fatherhood. The issues surrounding Black fatherhood, very complex and multifaceted, like I mentioned earlier. Systemic racism, mass incarceration, just to name a few, are some of the things that are affecting us. And as fathers, we have to come together and overcome those issues. It's just because there's roadblocks up doesn't mean that we have to detour. We can drive right through those roadblocks by equipping ourselves with the knowledge and know-how to overcome everything that the obstacles that are put in front of us. But like I was mentioning, you cannot blame one group solely to blame for the issues that are in Black fatherhood. It's also important to recognize Black women historically have been the ones holding the family down. So my hat goes off to Black women for holding us down despite it all, because you guys have issues facing you guys as well, and you're still holding the household down. So I do not blame Black women for the issues facing Black fatherhood. However, I will say, women, you need to raise your standards. And men, we need to exceed those standards as well. Like, not just meet them, but exceed them. I think there is time for a real conversation between Black men and Black women as far as how we view ourselves. Not really concerned with how other races view us. It's important how we view ourselves and how we're going to portray ourselves to each other to raise the children of the future. As they say, the kids are the future. We need to do better in setting examples for our children so that they can have something to model and not just get what they feel what it is to be Black just from music videos or TV or whatever. But before I end this podcast, I do have some questions that have hit my DMs. I was hoping it was more, some dating DMs. But anyway, some of the questions I got from my DMs, and I'll give my social media contact information out later. So if you guys have questions, you can hit me up. But one of the questions I received was, what's a good way to bond with my teenage son? So you guys know what it's like to be a teenager, where you start smelling yourself, as my mom used to say, and you kind of start distancing yourselves with their interaction that you have with your folks and start doing your own thing. So I have a teenager, he's 17 now. So some of the things I start doing is having one-on-one times where, me and him will just go out to eat, give us a chance to talk. And one of the things I do to truly bond with them is, like, we play Madden. I'm not really that good. I run the same offensive plays, can't play no defense, but he enjoys the time of just me and him just playing, talking trash, and every once in a while I'm able to beat him. But it's finding what your teenage son or daughter is into and just showing interest. If your daughter does TikTok videos, suck it up and do a TikTok video with her. Trust me, she will love it. Especially when they do all those little skits and stuff. So be willing to do those type things just to have that bonding time, and not let it be just your only interaction with your kid is just when you're trying to discipline them or tell them to clean up their room or just point out things that they're not doing. Have those moments of just enjoying time with them on their level. And then that way it's easier to get them to come to your side to like a family trip or something where, they're rolling their eyes, but they'll understand, he gave me his time, I give him mine. So that's one of the things you guys can do to try to bond with your teenage children, son or daughter. Another question I had, how long would you wait before introducing someone you're dating to your child after a divorce? This is complex. every child is different. Every divorce is different. So it all depends on how the divorce went down, the ages of your kids. I know in the beginning, I'll be divorced almost 3 years. And I can tell you, year one, my oldest son was not having me seeing nobody. He didn't come right out and say it, but when I had mentioned I was going out with someone, I can see it in his eyes that he was not a fan of it. And then I eventually had a conversation with him and just explaining to him, like, this is, dad moving on. And he still wasn't feeling it at the time. So I made sure I didn't, throw that in his face and that kind of thing about, hey, dad's going out again or anything like that. But I just continued to give him his time because that's what he was afraid of. Eventually, he truly opened up and he was just afraid of now I would spend my time elsewhere, not so much with him and his brother. So a lot of times you just got to reassure your kids, like, daddy still has a life, but you are number one in my life kind of thing. So I would say talk with your kid. I mean, if they're of age. I know my youngest didn't truly understand what a divorce was. So we were divorced, living separately. And one day my youngest son said, hey, you can get this for your wife. I said, my wife? He said, yeah, mommy. And we had been divorced 2 years at the time, but in his mind, he still thought we were still married. So I had to actually explain to him again what divorce was. So make sure you're just having those conversations with your kids so they'll understand where you're coming from and what the situation is. And this ties in right into what I just finished talking about. What advice would you give for co-parenting? Co-parenting, the number one thing is communication. Now, there's communications between you and your significant other. You guys have to talk about how you want to raise the kids. You want to make sure that whatever punishment they have at one house, they have at the next household as well, just so the kids know there's a united front as far as this co-parenting thing. But just communication, it doesn't necessarily have to be daily. It can definitely be when the kids go to the other household. You guys can have conversations. Then I can tell you that's what we do. Like if I drop the kids off, I'll chat with their mom. And when she drops them off, she'll chat with me. For some, that may seem weird, but it's our way of just showing the kids right here that we are on the same page. And whatever you did at this household, I am aware of. And the punishment or whatever correction that may need to take place will continue at my household as well. So just communication, that is the biggest thing. That'll solve a lot of problems, communication. So I would definitely say talk with your kid's mom or baby mama. I don't know, whichever one you prefer to say. And but so those are my 3 questions. We're about to sign out of this podcast. Yeah, maybe not. I still have something on my heart as far as the conversation with Black women, and I'm just going to say it. I don't want to have to be so apologetic about it or have to try to backtrack. I just want to be able to give my honest opinions on what I feel about what's going on with Black women. So just bear with me. So completely unscripted, the way I feel as far as the issues with Black women and Black men, especially in particular with motherhood and fatherhood. I think we use what fatherhood is from the past and want that to apply now. But then when it comes to motherhood, we only apply the standards now. Like, so father's supposed to hold the household down, which I can see that. I can totally agree on that. Hold the household down, yet still do everything as far as diapers, cooking dinner, and all these type things. Whereas women don't have to have the same standards of yesteryear about just holding the household down. Women are now have to share household duties with the father, and then they're able to have their careers. So there's no middle ground. It's like we have to have the standards of yesteryear and today, while women only have to have the standards of today, or that understanding that women have their own lives and able to work and all that type stuff. And they may not have as much time to hold down the household, but men are expected to do both, work and be the hold the household down as well. So I think conversations about that definitely need to be had. And I would say, and this is for those before you go into parenthood, is to have those conversations with your spouse. Like, what are your expectations of me as a father? And then what are your expectations of me as a mother? That's for my female viewers. Those conversations need to be had, because we go into parenthood with assumptions. We go into assuming someone's going to parent a certain kind of way, and not understanding how they were truly brought up, what are their ideas on parenting, where they come to discipline, education. So those are some conversations that definitely need to be had before entering into parenthood. I strongly recommend having those conversations. Hey, you should have those conversations before you even walk down the aisle, is having those understandings of what your life is going to be like with this person. And can you handle it? Because a lot of times in parenthood, one wants to run the household with an iron fist, and the other person is very intimidated by that, and it can cause a very uncomfortable situation. So have those conversations as far as what your expectations are, and pretty much what you're bringing to the table when it comes to parenthood. And if I can, I'm going to dig a little bit more deeper into these issues facing our children. Not everyone is able to have a father in their household for various reasons. Maybe the father isn't up to par to be in that kid's life. So I actually challenge mothers in this situation, instead of just trying to hold it down yourself. There are programs you can go to, like Big Brothers, Big Sisters, and various nonprofits in your area that allow your child to be around male figures. I volunteered at a nonprofit, and I was the only male volunteer. And I work with children from ages 8 to 15. And I had mothers tell me that I was the only black figure, male figure, that they would see all week. School, there was no father in the household, so they would go to school, they wouldn't see a black male figure in their everyday life. That's not what they experienced. So while I was there, the kids would gravitate to me, whether we were playing Uno, playing basketball with them. And it's crazy for me to work in fatherhood. I never experienced that with kids. I'm used to just working with the dads directly, but to see the kids gravitate to me, and it felt similar to how my boys gravitate to me. So I realized then exactly how important it is to have a male figure in your life. Trust me, the kids love their mom. So like when we did projects and stuff, of course, they would be doing things just for their mom, but it was that male part that they crave. And what motivated them to keep coming to the, or being excited, I should say, coming to the center, because they were coming before and their interest wasn't quite there. Because like even with the volunteers I work with, which were women, they would tell me like I was a blessing to be there. And I challenge fathers to just get more involved as far as volunteering as well. Because for me, my boys have me, but there's other children out there that need those father figures. So by being present, being volunteering, stepping up, it's your way of serving your community. Because I also feel not only are Black men should be the leader of their household, they should be the leader in their communities. And volunteering is a great way for you to show your leadership in your community. So that is definitely my challenge to Black men out there, to volunteer. Even if you don't have kids, I would challenge you to volunteer, because our children desperately need it. And another thing about the fathers being involved, Black fathers being involved, I am one of those fathers that's active in my children's lives, whether it's school, what are they up to, kind of thing, what their interests and things like that. All I know is fathers that are like that. I think a lot of us need to change our circles, because there are some dads that are on the borderline, like, you know, they want to be in their kids' lives, but they don't really know how to truly do that. And a lot of that is just changing your circle. You learn from other fathers. I mean, I have a 17-year-old, so I didn't know what the teenage years were going to be like. So I use my circle of friends to learn, like, things to look out for when your kids become a teenager and things like that. Because it really takes a village to raise our children, but it also takes a village for us to have that support as well. So if you feel like you're struggling in fatherhood, you definitely need to get around other fathers. And there are plenty of fatherhood programs out there for you to get around, namely one, Daddy Every Day. Shameless plug, but yes, Daddy Every Day, that's my goal, is to help fathers be better parents. So I would challenge you to find events in your area to be a part of, so that you can get the know-how from other fathers, and just learning from other fathers, bonding with other fathers. I actually take once a month, go on a hiking journey with other Black males. We hike once a month. Shout out to Accountability Brother. But like, we're taking these hikes. Nature's a beautiful thing. I definitely want to talk about that more on a later podcast, but just getting out there in nature. But like, we're out there talking and bonding. Like, you know, if a brother got something going on, he's able to express it, and we work through it. Like, whether we are in group discussions or just you just find someone just to talk to. So definitely, brothers, surround yourself with other Black men that are either going through what you're going through or have been through what you've been through. Then, of course, you got churches you can go to, but definitely find your tribe, so to say, to help you get through whatever you're going through. So that is going to be about do it. I haven't gave out my social media contacts, so if you want to reach out to me, you have a question, whether you want me to answer on air or just through DMs, I'm cool with that. So you can follow me at Instagram and Facebook at Daddy Every Day. I'm on the Twitter. Don't use it really that often, but you can follow me at Daddy Everyday 24. I never really got into the hype about Twitter, but maybe I'll try it out. Like, maybe I just haven't followed the right people. A lot of times they say it's who you follow that make the platform exciting. So maybe I'll try to see who everyone else is following that's making it so exciting to be on Twitter. You can email me at info@daddyeveryday.org. So you can email me any questions you may have, any information you want to know as far as events that we may have coming up. You can actually go to daddyeveryday.org, and I'll be updating that with probably weekly with whatever events that we have coming up. Try to give you guys advance notice, because I hate those, hey, we're doing such and such tomorrow. Like, we're busy people, kids and things like that. So try to give you guys advance notice on whatever we have coming up. I definitely appreciate you listening to this podcast. I would definitely be bringing you guys more and exciting things, all things fatherhood, and then the Black male experience as well. So subscribe to the Daddy Everyday podcast on Spotify or wherever you get your podcast. And this is Delonzo Barnes, and I'm out.